Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us on Comics from the Future. Hope you get a long weekend, first of all, and glad that you are kicking it off watching our weekly show where we're going to go over the best covers, new series, all sorts of things that we don't want you to miss. That's why you are watching this. So in case you don't know, my name is Megan.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Jason. We're with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yes, we have a brick and mortar store here, and we love to inform all of our customers about what's coming out so they don't miss anything. And if you are watching, no matter where you are, hopefully some of the info you have here or that we provide here will be useful for you. But before we begin, please take a second and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just takes 1 second, and it would mean a whole lot to us, all three of us. So thank you very much. And yeah, I guess we'll just get right into it.
All right, our first section is featured comics. Every week we pick out the comics, typically issue number ones we think people need to hear a little bit more about to decide if they're going to go out and spend their hard-earned Labor Day money on. So let's start with probably the obvious choice.
All right, everybody, put on your tiaras and prepare your indestructible bracelets.
Thought I had mine under here, but I must have left it at home.
It is Wonder Woman's 80th anniversary special. We've seen these specials coming out with Green Arrow and Aquaman last week. Well, it's time for Wonder Woman, probably one of the most anticipated ones. So this is going to have a bunch of different covers and feature several different stories by different artists, different writers. We've got Tom King, Becky Cloonan, Mark Waid, so many others, so many good artists. So this is going to be celebrating her past, her present, her future. You know how these anniversary issues go. It's going to be $10, and we're going to show you all the different covers for it. So this is your A cover, and then we have the MURAI cover.
Yeah, I think I read this one is supposed to be sort of an homage to the movies. It's supposed to a little bit more resemble, the Gal Gadot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think the title, you can also look at those, and those correspond with kind of what versions they are.
Good call. Yeah, this is a really good one. Then we have the Cat STAGGS variant.
Cool.
Take a look at that. Next up, Bruce Timm.
That's my favorite one.
I think this will be a very popular one.
And you see the way the font's done is like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
It's so good. And just the stance, that attitude.
This one coming up might be my favorite. This is the Jen Bartel, and you can see through the ages. Looks like it's going to be a wraparound.
Oh, that is really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even see that one. That's really cool.
So this might be my favorite. I love the sky. It's the Jen Bartel cover. Then we have the Amy Reeder variant.
Very classic.
Cool
looking.
shadow in the background too. Yeah. And then Michael Cho, always a fan favorite.
Yep, he always does the like 50s, 60s sort of style.
Travis Moore coming up next with this cover. Definitely reminds us of the, what is it?
The Perez era.
Mm-hmm, that wraparound cover.
With that title and everything.
Yep.
And then lastly, we have the Cliff Chiang cover. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys something. Because of the Labor Day weekend, DC orders were actually already due. Lunar, the distributor of DC, made us order all of our stuff last night. So actually all of these orders are already in at your store. So I tell you that because don't get your hopes too hard. If you wanted to order like 10 copies of one of these, that might not be a possibility anymore. But maybe go ahead and reach out to them, let you know, so you can be first in line for whatever they did order, because these are already placed. Everything you see DC today is already placed. So not any fault of your store, unfortunately, just kind of the way they force us to order because of the holidays. So
the DC on today's show is actually comics from the past. As
they
far
come
as
out
when
in the
you
future,
could order
ordered in the past.
Correct, yeah. So
next up is a big one. This is Inferno. I keep wanting to say like X-Men Inferno. It's just Inferno, but this is the big next chapter in the X-Men saga by Jonathan Hickman. So this is actually Jonathan Hickman's last thing he's doing with the X-Men, at least for the foreseeable future. And this is going to pick up the seeds that were planted in House of X and Powers of 10 all those years ago now. but this is supposed to kind of be, I'm guessing, the end of the like Myra McTaggart story,
Yeah,
or at least
capstone to that.
the capstone to that, because you don't want to have to bring in another writer to head of the X-Men stuff and be like, keep up what Jonathan Hickman was doing. That's a big order. So I think a lot of his stuff is going to play out in this. This is going to be a 4-part series, and it says that one woman is going to follow through on her promise to burn Krakoa to the ground. And we do know that Mystique kind of made that promise because of them not bringing Destiny back and everything. So I think this is going to be big, especially if you either have been catching up with the X-Men stuff, or you read House and Powers and you really liked it. I know a lot of people who are just now getting around to reading that whole story. This is going to be the big kind of finale of that first part. And it'll be interesting to see what comes after this. You know, is Krakoa still a thing? Is it still going to be the base for the mutants? Who's going to be
I have heard
around?
rumors that I've heard rumors they're going to keep Krakoa,
Okay.
even though it was Hickman's thing, but just rumors right now.
Yeah, but I think major things are going to happen in this.
Yeah,
for sure. So, yep, this is our A cover. We have, of course,
who's going to burn it to the ground? I wonder.
Just casually Mystique. This is the ARTGERM variant.
That's a very strong cover, though.
Yes. And then this one is cool. This is the Mark Brooks wraparound cover, and it was so good. We didn't want to have to shrink it to show you. We wanted you to see both sides of it. So here's the front of it. Really cool. And the back.
That's
so,
great.
I mean, Mark Brooks, just say, like, do like 30 characters and make it look nice, and he delivers every time.
Yeah, that's very cool. Okay.
Then we have
Getting ahead of ourselves.
The DEKAL variant with Emma Frost.
That's nice too.
It's really nice. It looks like she's leaned up, like she's like on a cruise or something. And then we have, of course, the Peach Momoko cover.
Oh, it creeps me out.
Is very different. We have the SILVA homage cover.
Interesting. Just looking at sort of the groupings here.
Yeah, and it says in this, they released these images, these 3 kind of sections, and it was basically being like, who can you trust?
Yeah, don't trust the leaders. I remember that
Yeah,
ad.
so you have each of these, and it kind of looks like these are going to be the pairings of, you've got the leaders, you've got the people kind of behind the scenes with Mystique and Myra and Destiny, and then you have the mutants who are inhabiting Krakoa and everything, and they're kind of factioning off. And then I think lastly we have the VEGA variant.
That's great. I mean, they're really sort of making it obvious that Mystique's going to be a big part of this, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite characters. Okay, so here is a new one from Vault. It is called Human Remains. Which sounds very gory, but oddly enough, it has to do with aliens. So the premise, from what I gather, is some alien monsters have inhabited the Earth, and they either feed off of or they stop us humans from having feelings. That's sort of the thing. I don't know if they're ruling or not. The solicitation doesn't go into that, but they're definitely a big menace. So what happens when our world, where our world has changed and having feelings is now dangerous? What happens when 2 people meet and they fall deeply in love amidst this whole alien threat? So that is sort of what the premise is to this. I don't know what to make of it exactly, but that's, what you get from an indie book.
Yeah.
Just sort of a weird premise that they can explore some strange ideas. So this is the A cover, and we also have a B cover to it.
That looks so nice.
Yeah, until you look at it longer and longer. All the blood-stained flowers.
All right, next up from DC is Are You Afraid of Darkseid? Obviously playing on Are You Afraid of the Dark, a little bit with this cover as well. So this is going to be campfire tales told, 7 different tales in campfire style. Definitely trying to scare you as October starts. This is going to come out October 5th. So like I said, 7 different stories. It says that will make you call your mom to come pick you up. So I can say this is probably going to be a good all ages book because it is going to be the Teen Titans guiding us through these different stories. We're going to have Batman and a hidden killer, Harley Quinn and Darkseid against an angry Bloody Mary. So lots of different stories for us to sink our teeth into. Definitely get us ready for the Halloween season. This is a $10 one shot. Hopefully your store ordered enough to cover everybody who wants it. But like I said, go ahead, contact them, get your name first on that list because this will probably be pretty popular. I mean, it's not like the most obvious homage to Are You Afraid of the Dark, but you guys know how horror movie covers go. So, could be something.
Yeah, we put a few of the Halloween ones together here. I like what DC's done for the holiday things. I think it's great. You know, now it's like part of my holiday to buy it and enjoy it. You know, as an adult, you don't get to go trick or treat anymore, but now you have all the money to buy whatever you want. So you can buy that comic.
Buy a bag of candy.
Yeah, that's right.
This is funny too. In the DC universe, they sit around the campfire and like tell us a scary story, and they're like, "We live in a world of Killer Croc, like Gentleman Ghost. These are all daily activities for us to fight them. Like, what scares them?"
Yeah, that's a good point.
Next up is another Halloween one. And I like how the spookiness can cross all borders, even into Transformers. This is Transformers Halloween Special. This is going to be a $5.99 one-shot. And in this it says there's rumors of howling disembodied Spark out in the desert. And Starscream goes out to kind of clear his head, and he hears this voice. And it leads him to a creature that will make him question everything and what it means to be a Transformer. And I love it. The story is called I Have No Mouth and I Must Starscream. Which is just like, it has such a like you can't take this like too seriously. I mean, for one thing, Starscream, he's cool and all, but he's also a pretty goofy character.
Yeah.
And I mean, this cover and everything, it sounds like a lot of fun. I love they're doing this with properties that you wonder, like, what's scary in the Transformers universe?
Yeah, those are three really strong Halloween titles that, I mean, we want to put real close to each other on the shelf, have a little Halloween section.
I think we're about to get to even more.
This is shaping up very nicely. Okay, so yes, next up is Willie's Wonderland prequel. So the Hulu hit horror movie. How many of you seen this? Nicolas Cage doing his thing, fighting crazy Five Nights at Freddy-like animatronics. Because this is not actually related to Five Nights at Freddy, but it's, you know, pretty much the same. Except that Nicolas Cage fights them. This is the prequel comic. This is a 4-part series. I'm looking forward to this. Megan and I, we watched it. What do you think of the movie?
I liked it. So when I heard that Nicolas Cage did not speak in the film, I was like, come on. I mean, that's part of the charm, is hearing him be crazy. It actually really worked. He has some crazy like dances and stuff in it. It was a lot of fun.
And the way he powers himself up.
Yes,
and
it was a lot like a comic. Or
we can only say so much, not just for people who haven't seen it, but also Andy hasn't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it.
We recommended it today. So I'm really happy that they're doing this prequel comic. A sequel to the movie is actively being discussed. So this is probably a good one to pick up in case this continues on. I mean, as popular as the last one was. But now you get to see all the animatronics from the movie before Nicolas Cage's janitor gets there. And you get to see them at other kids' birthday parties. Like, what started this all? What were they up to in all the years before he arrived? Obviously no good, as you can see from the cover there. So, Willie's Wonderland, you still have a chance to order it. In fact, you have a chance to go watch the Hulu thing and decide if you like it or not. And then let us know by Sunday night if you want us to order this for you. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. And so this is the A cover. Here is the B cover by Calzada. I said that kind of weird. Calzada. And you can see the whole animatronic evil family there at the kids' party. I know that's not going to end well. And then, you know, when we watched the movie, we were guessing which animatronics were going to, like, fight Nicolas Cage in what order. And we did pretty well, actually. We guessed that pretty well. And then here is the C cover. This is called the Slashing Time Limited Edition cover. So I'm not sure what that is about exactly.
All right, next up is Darkhold Alpha #1. So this is really cool. So there is the Book of Darkhold, which is aka the Book of Sins or the Book of the Damned. It was created by one of the first black magic users on Earth. Has a really hard name to pronounce. I'm gonna say Chthon. Anyway, he had created this book, and now it has been found by Dr. Doom, and Chthon has found him. So, this is going to be cool. It's going to be a series of one-shots featuring each character. So, Scarlet Witch assembles heroes to try to stop the evil forces from this book from being spread and whatnot. So, in order to do that, each character is going to sort of have to face their own inner darkness. So, I think it's going to be cool. Every issue is going to be a one-shot, so tell your store that you want to be down for the Darkhold event. Hopefully that's a series code in the Diamond database or whatever, but anyway, Darkhold event, that's what you want on this. We're going to see each of our heroes battling their demons. So I think this will be super cool. And yeah, this is our A cover. Then we have the Cabal Stormbreakers variant featuring Scarlet Witch. And lastly, the Smallwood variant, so you can pick which one you want, Dr. Doom or Scarlet Witch.
Pick your team.
Mm-hmm.
So the Darkhold kind of sounds like Marvel's version of the Necronomicon.
I was going to say, yeah, definitely a lot like the Necronomicon.
And it appeared in WandaVision.
Yes.
So I feel like they're kind of like keeping this out there, like, hey, don't forget about the Darkhold.
You're right.
They are, yep.
Next is a new series called Unborn. And this is interesting. You can kind of tell from the cover. It says it's a cross between Alien and Power Rangers. So you see on the cover, they all have like their unique weapons and stuff. You got a hammer and a shield. And in this, they are explorers and miners on a distant planet looking for super fuel to help Earth when they awaken a hostile alien species. And they must eradicate it, but as these stories usually go, maybe the real threat comes from inside the group. So, sounds like a fun new sci-fi horror book called Unborn.
Definitely a nod to all the things that you mentioned,
Yep.
for sure.
Then we have the variant by Ragazzoni, which I won't make any pasta jokes, but
I need it. Okay, so a new one and done by Aftershock. So just like they did the God of Tremors, they've been doing these really cool magazine size, extra thick, just sort of one shot things. They're doing a new one called 10 Years to Death. This is based on supposedly an eerie real life story. When they say eerie, I wonder how much of it was true and how much of it wasn't. But still, it's supposed to be based on a real life story. Now, solicitation doesn't reveal a whole lot, except it has to do with a new prison guard, a mass murder inmate, and a death that happens that binds the two together. Some sort of mystery around the death. I like prison stories. I like stuff like this. So, I mean, this is sort of up my alley. I'm glad I got to talk about it. These sort of real life crime things. It sounds like it might have a little bit of spookiness, a little bit of a mystical edge. I'm not sure. The other thing to this is it is written by Aaron Douglas, who was Chief from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that took me by surprise. And we're not going to show the cover, but I do want to tell you about this. So this one I think is $6.99, but they have announced there's a $19.99 version of this that is signed by him, but they're only doing 1,000 of them. So we're back in that territory, sort of with White, where if we take pre-orders, we're probably going to get one if we're lucky. But still, this show's also about informing you. So if you think you want that 1999 one signed by Chief from Battlestar Galactica, let your store know. Let us know. We'll put you on the list. Typically, we do a lottery system. If we have 10 people that ask and we get one, we draw a name from a hat, and that's who it goes to. So I didn't want to make a huge deal of it, but I wanted to let you know because it is a different cover. But that is generally what this is about and who it is by. And now we get to our next section of the show, other number ones. So these are ones that aren't featured. It's not that they're not cool. It's just we don't have time to talk forever about everything. Here are some other number ones and one shots that you might want to know about.
Yeah, you might want to do a little bit more research on your own. So I'm starting this one out with Stranger Things Tomb of Ybwen. Yeah, that's how you pronounce that. This is going to be in the vein of many of the Stranger Things mini-series, a 4-part series. And they have survived their battle with the Mind Flayer, and now they are on to more mysteries, more dangers, more treacherous things, and more nerdy stuff, of course, as the Stranger Things series love to do. So if you liked any of the previous Stranger Things stuff, this will be one for you to check out. Again, just in time for Halloween. So that's what this is.
These kids are going to grow up into very traumatized adults, all the things
Yeah.
they've been through.
I'm amazed how many comic miniseries they've got out of Stranger Things. Because when you watch the show, you're like, this is a pretty confined story. Right. But they've kind of turned them into like a Scooby-Doo gang.
Yeah.
Where they have all their little adventures.
And there are multiple covers, so if you're down with those, you can find those easily online. We will continue, though.
Next up is a pretty big number one, but it's the classic Marvel. It's a number one, but also it's the last issue of a story.
Right.
This is Extreme Carnage Omega number one. This is the final part of the Extreme Carnage magnum opus that has gone through all the one-shots of all the different Life Foundation symbiotes, all culminating here. And I wish I could talk more about it, but we don't know a whole lot of it. The solicitation for this one just says Carnage wins, which we'll have to wait and find out. Usually that's not the case when it comes to Carnage.
Yeah, we just don't know his plan, and that's part of the story.
Yeah.
Part of the story is you're not supposed to know his plan till the end. So it's hard to talk about what he's doing when we, the reader, don't know yet.
I think it's interesting because we do have the new Venom series starting pretty soon.
Correct.
And you can't have a Venom series without Carnage
eventually
coming into it. So I'm guessing this is going to set up the new status quo of Carnage, where he is, what he's going to be doing, and kind of where we leave off all of our other
He may end up with some soldiers. I mean, he's gathering the Life Foundation's symbiote, so he may end up with some soldiers, possibly.
Yes. So, I mean, Marvel loves their symbiotes, so we've got some new ones now with some new titles and everything.
I like Silence is cool, and she's got really good power.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be interesting to see, rather than be the end of a story, to see what new stories does this kick off. So, of course, we have the A cover. Then we have the Johnson connecting.
And that, of course, is Silence, who I was just talking about.
Of course, this is the Rob Liefeld variant, where Deadpool's fighting a very tall Carnage.
Yeah.
Can't even fit him on there. I love this one. This is, of course, the Scotty Young one. And if you read it, this character may not appear in this, but Spider-Man thinks it'd be really cool if this Voltron-style symbiote appears.
Okay, so another new number one is Zorro Flights. The title confused me until I read about it. It makes complete sense, and I'll tell you why. In this series, Zorro is going up against a fire-breathing dragon.
Oh, wow.
Thus the flights. It's maybe not Zorro. Unless...
It's not a series of all the times that he's run from a battle.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be probably very popular with the readers of Zorro. Maybe he'll trade his horse in for the dragon, and eventually he'll fly. But he goes up against a fire-breathing dragon that is controlled by another villain. And so that's pretty terrible. Good luck with that, Zorro. Just wanted to let everybody know that series is beginning.
All right, we have one from Action Lab with their silliness, all their silly comics. Bigfoot, Frankenstein. I didn't think it's not Bigfoot versus Frankenstein. It's Bigfoot Frankenstein. Okay, so we have the last remaining tribe of Sasquatches. They are wiped out. Plus, the heir to the Frankenstein name, when he discovers this, he creates, from the remains of the Sasquatches, the last surviving He creates Bigfoot Frankenstein. I'm sorry, guys. This is so ridiculous. I'm trying to make this make sense. Anyway.
There's a Bigfoot, and he turns it into a Frankenstein
a
monster.
Frankenstein
I mean, you read the title, you can kind of imagine.
I imagine it's going to have bolts in the neck. It's going to be your classic.
It's going to be different pieces of body parts of Bigfoot. So, will he be a savior or a destroyer? Maybe a little bit of both. Find out.
Maybe a lover. You never know with Bigfoots.
Moving on.
Next up is Life is Strange, Dust. This is the final part in all of these Life is Strange comic series. I mean, they've had quite a few of them, but this wraps up Chloe's story, her epic journey, the protagonist from the first game. So if you've been reading them all, you'll want to get this one being the final part of that.
All right, so another one-shot. This is called Children of the Plague. And what it's about is there's a space disease that affects just certain people and gives them superpowers. Well, these people get rounded up by some evil, rich organization, and they are tested upon and forced to fight in a battle arena until one of them, Remy, who is a Indo-American superhero who was captured with everybody else, she's had it, and she leads a revolt to try to get out of there.
Get out of there.
I believe that's probably her on the cover there. So that is the premise. It's a sort of just a good one and done. Here's your chance to order it. So next we're going to go into cool covers and other comics. Cool Covers explains itself. Other comics, it's usually issues 2 and 3 where we give everyone the shot to remember what they've liked so that you can tell your store, sign me up for that, because we tend to stop ordering so many after issue number 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm. Love this cover, obviously because of all the hearts in the background. So this is Action Comics 1035, the Julian Totino Tedesco cardstock cover. What the heck? That got put on there wrong.
Totinos.
It might be two artists working together.
Okay, yeah, maybe
That's
it's
what I
two artists
would
working
say.
together. Okay, anyway, this is the cover B for Action Comics. It is lovely. Almost looks like it belongs in a Valentine's Day solicitation, but here it is now. We didn't want you to miss it.
Yeah, that would have worked really well for February.
Next up is Batman Superman number 22. This is the Gary Frank variant, and this is the final issue of Batman Superman. And in this, it sounds interesting that Mr. Mxyzptlk has resurrected Calendar Man, who died during A-Day, which, I mean, it's cool that this is actually tying in with all of that, and is causing reality to shift because of that. So, sounds like they're going out with a bang with this final issue of Batman Superman.
Interesting. So this is the cover to Blue and Gold number 3. And in it, the solicitation says that you're going to meet the newest member of Blue and Gold named Buggles. Now, I don't even think number 2 has been out yet. So I don't know if Buggles will be in the end of number 2. But I'm thinking he is that device we see there. It sort of looks like a drone.
Or is he the Dune Buggy named Buggles?
Oh, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is the Dune Buggy. So, anyhow, that is what's going on
Kinda
in
like
Blue and
Speed
Gold
Buggy.
number 3. This is your chance to sign up for the series.
All right, this is Checkmate number 4. This is the Matt Taylor cardstock cover. These are really nice, all like spy sort of cardstock covers that they're doing for these. So once again, Checkmate number 4, cover B.
Next up is a Cherry Blackbird, number 3 of 5. I just read issue number 1 of this. It was shocking and horrifying in so many ways. But if you're enjoying it, definitely want to jump on board with this. Of course, every issue is polybagged for a good reason.
Here is the Bermejo variant for Detective Comics number 1043. In this, Mayor Nakano's office is attacked, and Batman's the only one who can save him, in spite of everything the mayor in his office has been doing to try to end Batman. So it's that classic, Spider-Man has to save J. Jonah Jameson sort of thing. But this time with Batman, of course he's going to go help the mayor, even though he's been trying to get him.
I like he has a classic motorcycle.
I know, I was about to point that out. You could also this cover is great. Bermejo just Such a great artist.
Okay, next is Harley Quinn number 7. This is the Derek Chew cardstock variant, and this features the gardener and her plant dogs. It's super cool cover, a little bit different for Derek Chew, so liking this one.
Look at Harley petting the plant dog. I wonder
She
what that
loves
would
it.
feel like. It'd be like petting monkey grass.
Next up is Hardware number 2. This is the Manahanini cover. So this is another one. There's so many of these milestone books out right now. Don't forget which ones you're reading and to subscribe to them. You've got Static, you got Hardware. So yeah, make sure you let your store know which ones you want to be on.
Speaking of which, here is the A cover for Icon and Rocket number 3.
Yes.
So we learned in issue number 2 that there is another guy who claims he can take on Icon. You know, an Icon, he's like Superman powerful. He's also an alien. Well, the solicitation for this says there's a new villain who is an alien as well. Icon isn't the only alien, so I'm betting it's that guy. So time to see. I think they're going to be revealing who his main villain is. And this dude, he's not just tough, but he has that sinister intelligence to him. So I think they're building up a good villain. So if you've been digging it, sign up for Icon and Rocket number 3.
Alright, this is Lock and Key Sandman Universe Hell and Gone number 2. This is the final chapter, a must read for all Sandman and Lock and Key fans. It's a crossover between them. So this is the issue number 2. Don't want you to miss it.
Next up is Robin. This is Robin number 6. Of course, this is the Manipool variant. He's been doing some killer covers for this. I mean, all of them. I love the Hawk one, the Ravager one, and this is the new character. What's their name?
Respawn.
Respawn. Yeah. Which, I mean, love it. Love that. Also, the mask is just like straight tip from Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Really cool. I love that all of these characters are getting these Manipool covers.
We have yet to kind of discover Respawn's power or why Respawn calls themselves this. And I think this might be the issue because now the tournament has started.
Yes.
So, you know, when people die, it's going to matter more. So.
And they do say in this one, Robin, because the tournament has started, his match is against Flatline and Ravager.
I know.
So it's like 1v2.
It's
and
really
see how it goes down.
You know, and I've been reading this, and I can't wait for this issue because, you know, I keep wanting Robin and Flatline. They've kind of made friends in a way, and you want them to stay friends. And then, of course, Ravager's been helping Robin out. So it's like, how is he fighting the two people that might help him? Maybe they'll team up. I don't know. I'm looking forward to reading this one. Okay, so this is Superman 78, number 2. This is the A cover by Ben Oliver. In this issue, you know, of course, this goes back to the original Superman movies. It's that spirit of things. But in this issue, Superman has to form a unsteady alliance with Lex Luthor.
He does not look happy about that alliance.
No. Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor, so good. And why? Because there's a new Brainiac technology that has appeared in this universe, and he needs somebody with money, with technical know-how, to help him figure this whole thing out. So I think that's a great way for them to take this plot. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, next up, there's no trade dress on here yet, but this is Gollum Walks Among Us, number 2 of 2, of course, from Mike Mignola. So if you grab the number 1, make sure you get this one, ask for it, because you may miss out.
And, of course, the next one could have gone with our Halloween section. This is Star Wars Adventures Ghosts of Vader's Castle. This is the Francavilla cover. This is the A cover. And in this one, which you can kind of tell from the cover, Jackson, the bunny, the rabbit alien, is having nightmares of Wookiees that are as big as mountains. So it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. These are always really fun, great Halloween time reads. So this is our A cover. And then, of course, I mean, you see how horrifying a Wookiee the size of a mountain would be, with this cover by Charm.
That's great.
And also, back to the regular Star Wars Adventure series, this is Star Wars Adventures number 10. This is the Francavilla cover. And this issue is centered around Mace Windu and his Lightning Squadron. So we have the A cover here. And also we have the Simeon variant.
All right, so this is the main cover to Transformers Shattered Glass number 2. This is that really interesting series where the Transformers have been divided into the Autobot autocrats, and the Decepticons are the laborers. So just a different mini-series, just a different take. Take these characters you know, let's play them a different way. So if you like number 1, it is time to let your shop know you want number 2.
All right, next up is crossover number 8, the highly anticipated start of the next story arc. So, not without giving away too many spoilers, as we know from the previous story arc, the dome that kept that comic world enclosed has been burst open, and with that we're going to meet in this new story arc new foes, new allies, and just see what's going on with the mystery behind it all. So, issue number 8.
I know one of them, I'm not sure if it's this one, in the solicitation says, like, there's the character, and then it's, like, redacted from the Kirkman estate. So I think we can see that maybe a Robert Kirkman character is going to be appearing in it.
Yes.
And you know, make your bets which one we're going to get.
We saw Battle Pope in the background
Yes.
of one of them.
All right,
And the Walking Dead zombies.
That's true.
So make some predictions in the comments.
I would love Astounding
please.
Wolfman in there.
It's just fun to pick out the people, even if they don't
Yeah.
come to the forefront the way Madman has.
Yeah.
So that is our A cover, and then we have the Hutchison Cates cover B.
That's neat. I like what they do with the simplicity of it.
Next up is Department of Truth, number 13. This is the end of our second big story arc. And this one promises to turn the series on its head, which, I mean, I don't even know in this series which way the head is facing, but it's going to get twisted
Tell me
even
more. About
more.
Black Hat.
I have so many theories about maybe who's real and who's not even real in this. So I'm excited to see how this one, this part 2 wraps up. And this is our A cover, of course, the Simmons cover. We have the Bueno variant. And we also have this one, the Maria Lovett cover, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Very striking.
Little Red Riding Hood, but grown up, and even with the red sunglasses.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a good detail. All right, so Spawn number 322. It goes on, and it has not slowed. It's speeding up. So in this one, there is a new Spawn villain called the Disruptor. He's like the little kid in class that the teacher would go, no more disruptions. And he grew up, and now he's a big-time
And he never
villain.
learned his
He
lesson.
didn't. So this is the A cover. And true to form, but always understandable, here is the B cover. McFarlane, he's a busy man. We always let him off the hook on this. He never has his covers ready on time, but you know what? They sell.
Yeah.
So it's important for us to remind people, tell your story you want the B cover, because, I mean, it's McFarlane.
It looks good every time.
I know. Yeah, he doesn't disappoint. And then here is the C cover by Barberry.
All right, next up is Amazing Fantasy number 3 of this 5-part series, where of course we have World War II Captain America, Teenage Spidey, and Red Room Black Widow, sort of taking everybody from their origin story heyday and putting them on this savage island of adventure together. So it's been really cool. This is number 3. Don't want you to miss out because it could start dwindling on the shelf at this point. This is the A cover. And then we have the Kari Andrews B cover.
These are some very strong covers. You look at them and you immediately start imagining the story, like especially the other cover. Like that's so cool.
And his style. He can do so many different styles.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
Next up, Darkhawk number 2. of the 5-part series. Of course, we've got the new Darkhawk in here, still kind of learning the ropes of what it means to be a Darkhawk, trying to figure out his powers. And I feel like it's kind of a rite of passage. You're a new character, you come into the Marvel Universe, you got to run into Spider-Man.
Right.
He's the man at the front door. You come in, you got to deal with Spider-Man first. You gotta let Spider-Man know which side you're on. So, and we'll see. Is this going to be Peter Parker? Is this going to be Ben Reilly at this point?
Right.
Or is this going to be Miles?
I kind of wonder. Like, I get a Miles feeling.
I get a Miles.
This.
I don't know if it's just the colors of how it's like the red with the dark background,
Right.
but
also Miles is younger, and this new Darkhawk is a high schooler.
Yeah.
So I think they could relate better, possibly.
yes.
Huh.
And then, of course, we have the Ron Lim cover. It's really cool, kind of the deconstruction of his helmet.
Okay, so speaking of Miles, here is this is just a regular cover to Miles Morales Spider-Man number 30. So this is the issue that they are saying is his 10th anniversary issue. We've had all the 10th anniversary covers. I'm going to show you more of those in a moment, but this is the issue in honor of that. It is double size. It's a 40-page issue, nearly double size. And you see he has his new outfit on the front, which was they sneakily put it into the very end of the last issue. So this is going to have several stories in it. They brought back a lot of past writers for Miles over the years. A lot of the creative teams are coming back. But on top of that, and I like all the past stuff. The past stuff is great. But what excites me, I think, the most personally, they have a story by the team that did Enter the Spider-Verse.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, the team that did Enter the Spider-Verse is doing a story in this, so it's like, that's cool. I always like when they bring outside comic people in. I just want to see what they
specials.
can do. Yeah, it doesn't mean it'll be better. I just just something different. And so here is the Miles 10th anniversary variant, and then we have also this. There's a Pacelli variant. But we don't have the cover yet. The cover has not been released. If you want it, ask your store. Here's a few other comics that have Miles 10th variants that are orderable this week. This is Black Cat number 10. This is the Miles variant, as you can see. I've had a great time reading Black Cat. Jed McKay has been writing it, doing a great job. This is more of the Infinity... it's not Infinity Heist, it's Infinity Score. That's what they call the plot line, where Black Cat is trying to gather all the Infinity Stones. Meanwhile, the stones have been bonding with people. She's learned lately that they get stronger the closer you get the people together. Well, in this one, she gathers 3 of them, and it says it has a very big effect on the Marvel Universe. So then we have Thor number 17. This is the Knock Miles Morales 10th anniversary variant. This is the final issue in the Revelations plot line. It was just a 3-issue arc that Cates is writing with some pretty big stuff going down in it. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be the last issue for that arc, and here's this cover if you're getting all the Miles covers. And lastly, Wolverine number 16 has their Miles Morales 10th anniversary cover where he's ready to throw a rock. This Wolverine's been going up against that new villain that appeared earlier in his series. His name is Solemn. So more of that in this one.
Next up is Star Wars number 17. We are still in War of the Bounty Hunters territory, but if you know what happened recently in them, Luke is coming to the rescue of his friends. Vader senses it, and in this one, Vader now kind of has a lock on Luke and is pursuing him. So, really cool. I mean, I've loved the War of the Bounty Hunters storyline so far, and I'm really excited to see what happens. Is Vader gonna get to Luke? I mean, we know how it ends up, but they have a little meeting before the movie, so this is our A cover. Of course, our action figure variant, the John Tyler Christopher variant, with everyone's favorite character, Man, who, of course, appeared in Jabba's palace for, probably less than 2 seconds. I mean, that's how some of the best Star Wars characters are.
Yeah.
And then we have the Sprouse Lucasfilm 50th anniversary, this time with Episode 3. And finally, we have the Villanelli, where they're doing all the different bounty hunters and their ships. This is the Dengar one with his ship, the Punishing One.
All right, I
Oh, look
love
at
this.
that.
Oh man, these are all so good. So this is sword number 8, the Daughterman variant featuring Storm. So we've had this before with Rogue and Phoenix. They do super well, and really excited that these are continuing. Daughterman actually has done this for a while, so you can go back and see. Even before recently, this has been some of his themes. So love these. Don't miss out on this. This will sell out.
Yeah, that is great. The Psylocke one he did was really good.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely one that people snooze on every time, and then when they arrive, and whatever we think we're going to get double.
I think it's a Phoenix. Yeah, it was Psylocke.
This is great. Okay, so this is Winter Guard number 2, the Medina variant. In this issue, the Winter Guard ends up going to the hometown of Red Guardian in search of Red Guardian and the White Widow, who are on the run. Meanwhile, Crimson Dynamo is in critical condition. If you read issue 1, you know why. So here's your chance to order or sign up for issue number 2.
Something is Killing the Children, number 20. I probably don't need to say a lot more than that. But in this, we are pretty far into kind of our prequel story with Erica Slaughter working her way through the different rooms in the House of Slaughter and who she has to fight and everything. So, of course, you got to know that Something's Killing the Children, number 20, is out. We have to mention it.
Yep, for sure.
Oh, and then we have the variant for it. Is this the...
It's the Fong variant.
Fong variant.
Yep. So she just came out of her her dream test, and now we see what goes on from here. I think we'll get like more of the interior of the house because the dream test kind of happened in the barn. But man, all these issues have been so good. My biggest criticism would be I want more. I want more faster.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna get a whole nother series too.
All right, Suicide Jockeys, number 2, this crazy monster-infested story. It's issue number 2 is coming out. I guarantee you your store probably didn't order much of number 1. If you got one for yourself, they may not be ordering the number 2, so let them know if you want to check it out.
All right, so our next section is other printings and graphic novels. It's amazing how much reprints have just become a thing.
Yeah.
It's cool that they have them. Them doing it more, it helps readers, it helps collectors alike. So the first one is Geiger number 6 is gone back to second print. I think it snuck up on everybody that it was the last issue of just the Geiger series proper. Of course, now the Geiger universe begins. They're doing the big expanded universe things, and they have a whole nother title that they're launching.
Right here, we have Junkyard Joe,
Yep.
who they have said is going to be the next series. So you got him on his first big cover like this.
There you go. So Geiger number 6, second print.
Next up is Kang. Kang the Conqueror, number 1, second printing. This one does not shock me. It's got a second printing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to make sure everyone is caught up on Kang and who he is and what his backstory is. So definitely, and it's cool, a cool variant or a different cover than the original one. So definitely check this one out if you missed out on the first printing.
Another one I'm not surprised is going back. Moon Knight number 2 going back for second print. You may want to get this just to have it as well. Second prints are not as heavily printed as the first, as we know. So, get it. We sold out, surprisingly. We ordered so many and they've sold out. So, get your second print if you missed out on number 2.
Yep. Major sort of new first appearance in that one, too. And wait till everybody reads issue number 3 where that character comes back. I've already got to read it, so it's awesome. So Star Wars High Republic number 8 has gone to second print. It has 2 first appearances in it. It's got the first appearance of Comac Vitus and Veeth Silas. So they just keep bringing characters from the books and other things into the comics. I just am stockpiling this stuff. Hopefully one day it'll be worth its weight in gold. Anyway, no cover for this, so I bet it's going to be under-ordered. So please let your store know if you want this. Along with Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters number 3 going back to second printing. So this series has just been wildly popular. We had high hopes for it. I think it's really met expectations. So second print of this available.
Next up is We Don't Kill Spiders, #1 second printing. And these always sell out. Sometimes stores don't even order the first one because they always seem to slip through cracks, just like Phantom Star Killer and the Knuckle Duster one. These always, it seems like we only see them when they go to the second printing. So if you did miss out on it or you want to read this one, of course, is about the Viking detective going out and figuring out in a small town why there's been all these murders, teams up with this kind of witch of the woods. Really cool first issue. So if you missed it, here's your chance.
Okay, time for some graphic novels, trade paperbacks, starting with Berserker, trade paperback volume 1. This is going to be $16.99. Collect the first 5 issues. The half-mortal, half-god Bee, who is compelled to a life of violence. Figure out why in the trade paperback. If you have not picked up any of the single issues, this is I've been surprised how many people have come in to get the #1s just off the street since this series has been released. So read the whole thing here.
All right, so Saga is getting a very special box set. The solicitation from this was great to read because it's Brian Vaughn writing it. And in the solicitation, he apologizes for how long it has been since New Saga. He promises that both he and Fiona Staples have been hard at work on the second half of it. But in the meantime, he's like, I wanted to put this together as just a really special, nice set for somebody to own or a gift. So it is volumes 1 through 9 for $125. It also comes with 2 original exclusive art prints. They're 6x9 art prints, especially for this by Fiona Staples. So if you're a big Saga fan, or you want to buy somebody an incredible present, I would ask your store about this. I mean, at that price, surely we're going to get a few, but
it's not bad.
Yeah, we can't order the Sun, Moon, Stars on this one. So here's
and
your
also
chance.
they've had, of course, the omnibuses and the compendiums and everything. Some people don't like to read those because they are so heavy, and you're always worried about the spine of and everything. So this is really nice that you get all of the single smaller volumes in one thing.
Yeah, just for $125, so that's like maybe $12 a volume, and you get the original art and you get the nice slipcase. So I'm sure we're gonna have some of that around here.
Next up is Ultra Mega Volume 1, the James Herron helmed series with art by him and written by him. That's kind of a take off of Ultraman, but what if these crazy things actually existed? It would be pretty horrifying. Really fun series. So this is Volume 1 for $19.99.
Alright, next up is Unnatural Omnibus. Mirka Andolfo continues to make amazing stuff. She just started Red Sonja, so it makes sense that we're reprinting a lot of her stuff. So this is just going to be $40. It is about the pig girl who loves sushi and lives in a totalitarian government where the government has way too much control over the personal lives of the citizens, even controlling who you can be in a relationship with. So it's a really good fantasy story, sci-fi a little bit, so I do recommend it. A lot of us really like it here, so it's Unnatural Omnibus, just $40.
Yeah, that was a series that was way better than I expected.
It always blows everybody away because the covers are kind of, they show you one thing, they're a little bit risque, but it does have a lot of
series starts one place and it goes to a place you would never think this story would go.
It's pretty dark and violent and disturbing for having some sort of cheesecake covers. done well, but. So next up, for $19.99, they're reprinting the Amazing Screw-On Head in trade paperback, but they've added a bunch to it. So this is one I can wholeheartedly recommend. I read this so many years back. They actually did a pilot. You can find the animated pilot for Screw-On Head, which is excellent. I wish they had made the show. So who is Amazing Screw-On Head? It's by Mike Mignola, Hellboy. I mean, you need to say more. But it's set back in the time of Abraham Lincoln, and it's like Lincoln era, but a Mike Mignola spin on it. So you got a villain named Emperor Zombie. He's trying to do evil stuff. So President Lincoln goes to this screw-on head guy. He can basically, he's a head who can screw on any kind of body that gives him different powers. Very inventive, really, really cool. So this is 1999, and it comes with 50 extra pages of stuff.
Wow.
Now, some of it in there is related to Scrawn Head, but it isn't directly that. So it was vague about what the other 50 pages are. But I've loaned this out to a lot of people. Everyone's enjoyed it. If you can find the animated version, Paul Giamatti does Scrawn Head's voice, so they had some really big names behind it. So I saw this on there, and I was like, I got to tell people to possibly grab this up, because this goes out of print a lot also.
Yes, it does. It becomes very expensive and hard to get.
Yep, so $19.99, it's good stuff.
Next up is, it's really cool they've been printing these. This is EC Horror, or I keep on saying EC Horror. It is EC Archives Crime Illustrated. So this collects some of the classic EC crime stories that very rarely get printed for $49.99. It's 192 pages and has the rare issue 3 that wasn't even published back when these were coming out. It was the series kind of got canned before then. Of course, Comics Code and everything would dictate that. So if you have always wondered about the old EC stuff, they didn't only do horror, they also did crime that, kind of set the stage for a lot of what happened in the comic industry after that.
I'm guessing she got shot or stabbed in the back, because there is no wound on the front of her, but a lot of blood. Either that or she laid down in a puddle of blood.
Well, there's a glass there. She just spilled.
Just
her
one.
wine.
Okay, she just slipped on some Kool-Aid.
All right, next up is the graphic biography of Marie Curie, A Quest for Light. So this is going to be an $18 trade paperback. Of course, Marie Curie was the first female Nobel Prize winner and the only person to win in 2 categories. She won in physics and chemistry. So this is endorsed by the Curie estate, which is super cool. Actually had someone on her estate helping work and approve on this. So this is made accessible for young readers as well. So if you want to get a young loved one into, or let them know more about Marie Curie, this would be great for that. So once again, $18 for this biography.
All right, and that is our show for today.
Woo! Awesome. Okay, well, thank you guys very much for watching. We really appreciate it. Leave us some comments below. Let us know what you are most excited for this week. Let us know what you're going to be ordering. And, yeah.
If you're watching us on YouTube and we have been helpful at all, hit subscribe. Join our growing masses of people who watch our shows. We'll be back on Tuesday with Andy and I doing our lengthy review on all the new issues, where we read a dozen or more comics apiece in succession and try our best to tell you about them while getting around the landmine that is spoilers.
It's a lot of work. I don't think people realize how we have to tiptoe around things.
Yeah. But in the meantime, thank you for joining us on Comics from the Future. Don't forget to place your orders with us or whatever comic store you go with by Sunday evening. Have a great day and go read some comics.